Believe it or not, the past was not always normal. There are going to be some irregular verbs in the preterite tense. So the learning objectives are that you can recognize and conjugate the irregular verbs in the preterite tense, including the car, gar, zar verbs, and the stem changers. So here are some irregular verbs, the yo-yo verbs. I call them the car, gar, zar verbs, and these ones are any verb that end in gar, or zar, and there's quite a few verbs that you probably already know that end in those. Notice they're all AR verbs, gar, and zar. These verbs have a spelling change in the preterite tense, but in the yo form only. For example, sacar is a car verb. It ends in car, and when you conjugate it in the yo form only, the C changes to QU. So to say I took out, you'd say yo saqué. After you conjugate in the yo form, if you need to conjugate in any of the other forms, the tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, vosotros, ellos, ellas, ustedes, it's normal. The C does not change to QU. Only in the yo form. These car, gar, zar verbs only change in the yo form. Pagar is an example of a gar verb. It ends in gar. When you conjugate gar verbs in the yo form only, the G changes to gu. So to say I paid, yo pagué. And finally, zar verbs, empezar is an example ending in zar. The Z changes to C when you conjugate in the yo form only. So to say I began, you would say yo empecé. After, if you need to conjugate the verb in any of the other forms, the Z stays the same, and same with the G in the gar verbs. So again, these are only irregular when you're conjugating for yo. So the car to K and the gar to gay, the reason these guys change, let me start over. The reason these change is so that you maintain the sound that is in the infinitive. So, for example, tocar changes to toque with a QUE so that the C can stay hard, like a K sound. If you spelled it TOCE with an accent, we would say tose, and that is an entirely different verb. Same with the gar and the gay. Jugué wouldn't be spelled Juge. And same thing here. So it's to preserve the sound. So here's an example of another car verb, buscar, which means to look for. And if you conjugate it in the yo form, you get busqué. And then the rest of the verb, like I was saying before, stays the same. Buscaste, buscó, buscamos, buscasteis, buscaron. So notice the C only changes to Q in the yo form. Here's an example of a car verb, practicar, changing to practiqué for yo. And then it's normal in the rest of the forms. Practicaste, practicó, practicamos, practicasteis, practicaron. So how would you conjugate comunicar or criticar in the yo form for yo in the past tense? Comuniqué, critiqué. So we've looked at pagar already. The G changes to GU in the yo form, but after that, it's just showing you that you don't use that extra U in any of the other forms. Pagué, pagaste, pagó, pagamos, pagasteis, pagaron. How would you conjugate jugar in the yo form in the past tense? Jugué. Good job. Jugaste, jugó, jugamos, jugasteis, jugaron. Investigar. How would you say, I investigated. Investigué. Almorzar is a ZAR verb or a ZAR verb in the yo form, almorcé. After that, you keep the Z. Almorzaste, almorzó, almorzamos, almorzasteis, and almorzaron. Empezar. Empecé, empezaste, empezó, empezamos, empezasteis, empezaron. Lots of examples. How would you conjugate organizar in the yo form? Organicé. Moving on to some stem changing verbs. Now, remember the stem changing verbs in the preterite tense were a pain in the butt. We called them shoe verbs. So the thing to know about the shoe verbs in the past tense is that unless they end in IR, they don't have any spelling changes. That's kind of good news. That eliminates a lot of those stem changing verbs that we learned in the present tense. Here were some that were IR verbs that stem changed in the present tense and will also stem change in the past. And some more. And some more. So here's how they change. Pensar is a stem changing verb, but it's an AR verb, so it doesn't have a stem change in the past tense. Remember the present tense? We did the spelling change. And there's the shoe. In the past tense, it's completely normal. We don't need to do any spelling changes at all because it's an AR verb. However, servir was a stem changing verb in the present tense. And since it ends in IR, it's still going to stem change in the past. So just to review, in the present tense, the E changed to I, and we had sirvo, sirves, sirve, servimos, servis, sirven, and there's the shoe. In the past tense, it only stem changes in the third person form. So servi, serviste is fine, there's no spelling change, but you change the E to I in the third person, servio. Servimos, servisteis, sirvieron. So it's not quite a shoe. It's more of like maybe a flip-flop in the past tense. Here's another one. Vestirse, it's a reflexive verb that stem changed in the present tense and is also going to stem change in the past tense because it's an IR verb. Me vestí, te vestiste, se vistió. So the E changes to I only in the third person. Nos vestimos, os vestisteis, se vistieron. Again, in the third person, the E changes to I. There's our flip-flop. Dormí. Here's another one. Dormir. Dormí, dormiste, durmió. In this case, the O changes just to you. Dormimos, dormisteis, durmieron. Flip-flop. I don't know why that popped in after. That made no sense. So here's a few more that are irregular, both in the present and the past. They're all IR verbs. Okay, so time to check yourself. Maybe I should go back so you can look at that again. Divertirse is a reflexive verb, and the E is going to change to I in which form? The third person form. So the el, ea, usted, and the ellos, ellas, ustedes, and you make a flip-flop. Repetir, the E is going to change to I in the third person, and it's the second E, so it's repite. And pedir, the E is going to change to I in the third person form. Okay, can you recognize and conjugate irregular verbs in the preterite tense? And these are only some of the irregular verbs in the preterite tense. Please don't think that these are all of them. You can? Can you make a flip-flop?